Check, check, check. Good morning. Yeah, I always think that it's like I do a ridiculous amount of stuff. I'm like, I should do more time. Yeah, I did. I did, and I run. It's my club gig, but my club gig. First gig in. They have a really big system. Like, I was like doing club stuff. This is like. As he's like my buddy never even hit me back. But he was on the other side. But
All right. Good morning, everybody. So there is a QR code above my left shoulder. I need to ask you to please take out your phone, scan it, and check in. Some people have issues, especially people who have Android. Let's just give it a shot. What this does is it sends your email address into the 1 Million Cups national database, but it allows us to send you emails on a weekly basis, letting you know who the presenters are going to be. I don't know if we actually sent one this week. With the pitch contest, there was a lot going on, as you can imagine, right? We didn't, yeah, I didn't think so. But we do use those emails to communicate with you. What's the next date that we're not meeting? Is like Christmas. December 27th is the only Wednesday that we are not going to be here. We are here every Wednesday from 9 to 10. For those of you that don't know, and I am going to ask for a show of hands, first timers. 1, 2, 3. Did you ever get one of these, Bianca? So we have a gift for you. So I hope we have enough. We have enough. Yeah. Awesome. Great. So that's, well, we have, I don't know how many notebooks we have. It looks like we have 6. That's exactly enough for the new people in the room. 6. So this is a gift that 1 Million Cups. Oh, let me explain. So 1 Million Cups is part of the Kauffman Foundation. The Kauffman Foundation is basically an endowment that has been set aside for the purpose of caffeinating entrepreneurs every Wednesday. That's their mission. We here on the south side of Atlanta, we meet every Wednesday from 9 to 10, but every other 1 Million Cups chapter in the country, which is I think up to 120, they meet sometime on Wednesday morning before noon. The format that is set outright by 1 Million Cups is that the presenter has 6 minutes to share their business with us and then 20 minutes of Q&A. But we on the south side of Atlanta have a hard time finding people to present. So we do 1 presenter per session. And I don't keep time. I do tell the presenters that more than 6 minutes and you're going to start to lose attention span. but the rest of the time is filled with Q&A, and we're usually here past 10 o'clock. Be prepared. I think we have a really good one today. I think it's really cool. I'm excited to hear all about it. I don't think I have any other announcements to share. So given that we're 15 minutes behind schedule, I'm going to jump right in. So Quinn, come on up. Let's welcome him.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, Jason, and thank you to everyone for having me here. This is actually my first 1 million cups, so it's a very unique experience. So I'm actually from Fayetteville, Arkansas, so which is kind of pretty, yeah. So I'm from Fayetteville, that's right. So um, we can just we can we can just move forward from that slide. So I'm here to present Willa. We're going through rebranding right now, but um, Willa is my company that I started about 2 years ago. The parent company is called AutoWillow. You're going to see a Willow trend here, and it'll make sense in just a couple minutes here. I think um, exit out the full screen, maybe. Let's see the video. So once again, this is Willa. Okay. So here's our agenda today. We're going to talk about a little bit about our background, the market, problem, the solution, and some financials. So in 25 years, I believe that no one will be mowing their own lawn. And with it, revolutionary technology and artificial intelligence mixed with hardware, it's going to be a game changer in this industry. And so, you know, a lot of people in the lawn care industry is doing traditional sense of business, which is using mowers and, you know, just using the machinery. And it's starting to change in the industry. But uh, the, the great thing about it is that, you know, with my generation, we're willing to adapt more in tech versus the older generation in the sector that I'm in because, you know, people like to stay in their ways and stuff. So, so within 25 years, I believe I have this vision that this is going to be completely different. So, I have Dr. Bobda, who's my CTO. He is one of the top professors at the University of Florida in Gainesville, and so we've been partners for several years, and we've worked on several startups and had success. And so he is helping me run this operation, and I'm very lucky to be having him as my partner. And Randy Duncan, my CFO, he lives out in Kansas, and he is well experienced in the finance sector. And then you have myself as the CEO. And before I go to the next slide, I kind of want to share a little bit about my story and why I'm even standing here in front of you all today, which I think makes an important element to why this business exists. And so when I was 5 years old, I was, in Missouri at the time, but I'm from Arkansas. But before I moved to Arkansas, I lived in Missouri, and I had an extremely difficult childhood, and I had to grow up very fast. So my mom, she was an alcoholic. My dad did not. He was not in existence. I've never met him at that point in my life. And so my mom, me being severely allergic, she would take peanut butter and rub it all over my face and inside my mouth. And that was a wake up call to reality for me as a young boy because I didn't have a normal childhood. And so that said, I had to be on my toes to survive at all costs. And we were living in poverty for a very long time. And I would walk to school with no shoes. And it was an extremely difficult environment to overcome that. And so when I turned 15 years old, I was kicked out in the streets in Fayetteville. And I had to figure it out until a family took me in. And they brought me into their home, a middle class family who I call my mom and dad now, who is a social worker, and my dad is a teacher. And so, with them doing that, this is outside of business, but this is how community should work. And all of us should step up and help that person because you never know where that kid is going to go and recognize an opportunity they otherwise wouldn't have. And so that's starts my foundation into my entrepreneurship because as soon as they brought me in, I was extremely poor, but I was on the survival mode, so I had to hustle. And instead of doing it the illegal way, instead of selling grass, I wanted to cut grass. So I took a push mower and I started knocking on the door and started trying to make new clients for me to pay my way through college. And to pay my way through college, I had a vision that I'm like, okay, well, I'm already in business. I'm working on business. I have I'm building up my lawn care company. And so I want to study computer engineering for me to understand where this technological community or technology era is going to go. And so I want to mix that into the lawn care sector where I saw a lot of opportunities at the age of 15. So that said, 10 years later, 13 years later, I still have the same business. The business is called Willow Street Lawns, and it's one of the largest businesses in Northwest Arkansas. And with that said, I'm taking that knowledge with my 14 years of experience in lawn care industry and mixing it with the technological industry and blending that to be disruptive in this industry. You don't mind going to the next slide? Oh. So here's the problems in this industry. So when experiencing this lawn care, so what I would do, my vision for my traditional lawn care business is planting seeds of hope. So you see a lot of people on the corners. I don't know if they have it here in Fayetteville, Georgia. I haven't seen it so far. But in Fayetteville, Arkansas, there's a lot of homeless people sitting on the corner, asking for help, asking for money. And so I'm the person to go up to them and say, hey, here's a job for the day. I'll give you cash if you just come mow this lawn. And a lot of them didn't take it, but some did. I would go to the homeless centers. I would go to the homeless community. I would go to the underserved communities in Fayetteville and hire them without even looking at a resume and saying, okay, well, if you want to mow this grass, let's go ahead and do this, right? But that said, hiring them and then hiring the demographic of college students, hiring the demographic of older people, there lies a major problem, which is the turnover problem, which is what the statistics shows. And so you can guarantee after hiring, people within your company, 2 years, over 50, 60% is going to leave your business, whether they start their own business or they find a new job. or whatever the circumstance may be, that's what you're fighting for. And so if you don't mind going to the next. And so when you're fighting that, it's extremely difficult to scale a physical business, specifically in the lawn care industry. And so you have issues of scaling your operation. Sorry. You have labor turnover, there's a shortage, and then the labor cost. So everything is getting more and more expensive for the lawn care companies and for the customers that are paying lawn care companies. And so, you know, I'm looking to solve this problem here specifically. So here is our solution. So I'm working on building a fully autonomous robotic mower that not only mows the lawn, but it weed eats edges, mows, and blows the entire lawn. So with that said, while I'm focusing on the the tech, I'm also focusing on the quality of the employee. So by me deploying a technology like this, I'll be able to raise my rate to pay my lead person $25, $30. And that would solve a lot of the problems with the turnover by being able to be more efficient and mowing the lawns, but also providing the necessary tech for them to be sustainable throughout the years. Okay, we'll just play those videos. So this is a video of the weeder and how it's working, where the machine is weed eating and how the weeder will work. And so you would see the weeder in front as if you would put a weeder in front of you and you're weed eating it. And then the next video, this is just showing the functionality of the mower and the blades turning. And then the last video, and this shows the functionality of the edger. So making the yard extra crisp. And this virtual demonstration, we took our tech and integrated into an electric mower and made it fully autonomous, but we can't show that at the moment. But we're slowly taking the steps to getting to our end product, which is to the right. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay. Yeah. So with our solution, and I'll start.
These sort of machines sort of exist. You could buy them to have it on your own. So when you plan to do this, do a personal tech, do they have to go with the machine, or do you plan to send them out, or how is this going to work?
I have a video up there I can show to answer partial your question. But that said, talking about competitors though, if it was there for me to be viable, if there was a viable solution on the market right now, I would be going and buying it. And so there's no viable solution based on what a lawn care service is needing in the market as of right now. There are people working on that, but it's not the full complete solution, because it's only part of a solution, about 70%. And so we're presenting the full solution for lawn care services to be able to make more money and make more profit. So with this solution, we're reducing our operational costs by 50% and reducing our labor by 50%, but we're increasing the wages more for each employee. And also, it's eco-friendly. And so what's revolutionary about this too is on top of it being eco-friendly, there is an 8-hour period where people can mow their lawns. And so if you take 8 hours and, you know, from sun up to sundown, depending on the area or whatever, you know, there's only a limited amount of window for people to be able to mow their lawns. So with this solution, we're able to mow 24 hours in the day in silence. And that's a game changer. And that automatically triples your profit for a lawn care service utilizing this. And to answer your question, this is kind of a video that displays how we would deploy. We would have 8 of the machines deploy it into some residential and commercial sector, and then we would optimize the route for us to come around to pick them up and then deploy in the optimized route. And this is gotta hit it again. So our internal focus as a company, and you'll hit it again. Our internal focus is to become the low-cost, high-margin company in the industry through robotics and IT. And for our customer focus, we want to become the best service and best price and best solution to have an exceptional service to our customer who needs lawn care. And here's a little bit on our app and where we are so far with an app as well. So some of the supporting entities with the technology that we've discussed about today. I'm from Arkansas, like I said, so the state of Arkansas is supporting our venture. The University of Arkansas is wanting to buy units and do business with us, but the issue is we don't have the technology right now. Life University in Marietta, Georgia, is wanting us to deploy our tech into their fields. Georgia Tech spoke to Georgia Tech, and they're working with us as well. And then we have the University of Georgia, who is sold on this tech. But the issue is that we don't have the investment to accelerate our path to get this deployed as a solution as of right now. But Willow Street Lawns is another one of my first company that I started. So with some of the profits that we make from there, we invest heavily into this tech because I know the industry and I understand that once the solution is incorporated, then you will capture a lot of the market. Yes, sir.
Is actually going back a couple of slides, but we don't have to go back on the slides. I was watching your deploy system, and I might be getting a little techie, but I'm just wondering because you also mentioned 24-hour service.
Yes, sir.
So that means even operating after sundown.
Yes, sir.
Does that mean, like, for example, if someone signs up for the service, will there be some sort of mapping of their landscape prior to them setting up, something like that? And how is that done?
Yeah. So how it's currently done is they do geofencing and they have to put stakes down. That's how it's currently being done with the Husqvarnas and solutions out there, which that takes like a whole day for someone to service the lawn, maybe even 2 days, and you'd have to keep the robot there. But how we're doing it is through computer vision and machine learning. So we're going into the field and then we program it to know the exact measurements of where it needs to mow. And then we'll deploy it for the first time to control it. And then it will remember that. And then the next time it'll go and mow it on its own.
Companies and locations that are interested in your product right now are universities, probably local municipalities, established places versus your profit margin in a residential, which average cost may be, to cut your grass, maybe 50, 60 bucks,
Yeah.
where you have a Georgia Tech that has obviously a larger land mass, a Georgia or city of Fayetteville or the county, those may be your target markets. Is it two segments to the business or one? Or is it all
Two.
one?
There's two, residential and commercial. Universities are on the commercial sector, residential is more homeowner. And so, as a matter of fact, we actually have a lot of business going on because essentially with Willow Street Lawns and the business that we have going on in Northwest Arkansas would automatically be shifted into the Willow. And so the profits would be transferred over, and then the tech would automatically start mowing the lawns that we already have current as well. This is Scott Turley. They have 400 acres. He wrote a letter of interest. He is the vice chancellor for the facilities at the university, so he knows the entire landscape of his 400 acres. And we meet about every few months just to provide updates with him. But I just wanted to show this letter of interest with this. And then as far as the business model, which I think is essential, is if you can see this vision, if I'm able to clearly, share this and articulate it, we're looking to be franchise. We're looking to be not selling these mowers. So we would sell mowers to like the University of Georgia if they want, if they're not willing to service. But we found that the University of Arkansas, for example, wants us to service their land versus them buying the tech. Because if they run into issues, we can be there to solve the problem versus them having to wait to send back the tech and all that, which is a major important because 7 days of non-mowed grass is it's not good. So, but we're looking to become a franchisee where we franchise and we put this tech onto our franchisees, where they're paying for this technology, but then we're guaranteeing them extreme efficiency for them to make their profits back. And so that would be the goal for that. And then on the customer side, as I was saying earlier, a major problem is once the high rising cost goes up, then the labor cost goes up, everything is going up. And so with our efficiency, when we're deploying this tech, we want to make it so efficient where we get neighborhoods with this tech to where we can just leave it there. And when we leave it there, then we can lower the price of the mow. And we would then ultimately make it as close as possible to like a YouTube subscription or a Spotify subscription, where you're paying, $40 a month to get your lawn care service versus having to come back the next year and have to pay, 30% more than what you were paying the year before. And then Path to a Million, kind of answering your question, I just kind of outlined, what the exact numbers, breaking it down to a million, and then you scale it from there. So there's a lot of assumptions here that you guys can see here, but I did on an average, $50 per mow. I don't know what the average is over here in Fayetteville, Georgia, but I just did 50 just to share that on average, whatever. So 8 months of mowing. If we're assuming we have 8 months of mowing and it's mowing once a week, that's 32 mows for one client. So when you multiply 32 mows for one client at $50, that's about $1,600 per client, which means if we were trying to get to a path to a million, we would need about 625 regular service operation of these mowers, mowing once a week for us to hit 1 million. And here is my contact information, and I will take whoever's question they would like to ask.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate all this, the technical aspect of the aim that you're going towards, but you had me in the very beginning of your presentation about taking homeless people and giving them an opportunity to make some money for themselves. And it seems like you're taking that away by this ingenious contraption. Is there any thought about taking your profit in whatever percentage you feel is worth it and turning it back to a homeless organization throughout the country or wherever your machine is sold?
Yes, sir. So to answer your question, so a lot of the people who were homeless that we were bringing in, they're above the age of 50, 40. There were some kids, maybe 18, 20, but mainly the people that I was working for or working with was around 40 to 50. And so when they're out there doing labor work every single day in the 100-degree weather, they start to slow down where it's affecting the team, it's affecting the performance. And so by building this technology, what I'm wanting to do is I want it to be easier for them. And so I want to teach them how to be able to deploy this technology while I'm able to then pay more money to them so that they can make sure that this machine is taken care of.
That's good. Good answer. Yeah. Quick clarification on the very first question. So it's not Wi-Fi based, right?
It is. We have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
Okay. Yeah. Because we got into the robot vacuums really just to see how our dogs would react, like way back in the day. And now we're on the second generation, and I've seen how wacky they can get while they're learning and mapping. So I was wondering if you have any funny stories about that. But my main question that I was looking for, I love this, by the way. This is awesome. I grew up working on landscaping trucks in Peachtree City, but I also love mowing my lawn. And I treat it like my ZTR, like a dune buggy. Like coming here from Washington D.C., it's like pure joy to get that satisfaction of seeing the lawn cut, and I'm just tearing through blades and breaking belts, kind of stuff. So these things are actually related. I can imagine as the machine is learning, it might like tear up a customer's flower bed or something like that. So I wonder if you want to speak to that, one, and two. I was just looking for like machine maintenance costs in there, and I'm sure you've been through that, but as a lawnmower nerd, I'd be interested to see. I guess the person you're hiring is going to handle the maintenance, but where's the maintenance cost built in? That's all.
So as far as the beds, that is the computer vision that it's identifying not to mow over. So like I said, that we were planning to map the entire lawn to where it knows what to cut and what not to cut. So it'll make sure once we first walk it around for us not to be able to cut the beds, if that answers your question. And so for maintenance cost, that's the beauty behind why we're keeping this technology internal, is so when the machine goes down, it's not if, but when the machine goes down, which is what we're accounting for, is we will switch out the machine with the franchisee. And then on the corporate side, our team will handle the repairs for the machine, so the franchisee can continue mowing the lawn, so they don't get stopped in their routes. And that is once again coming back to the efficiency and trying to keep the cost low by incorporating that strategy, so that they don't have to worry about it. We'll just take care of it on our end.
Hi, I love the idea. I have a background in healthcare trauma, so I've seen some things with mowers, and I want to talk about the safety concerns.
Sure.
As you're developing, do you have anything already built in?
So we have sensors. It's similar to Tesla with their sensors. So we have the sensors there, and then with, like I was saying about the computer vision, we have we have it built to where if there's a human, dog, item and it's detected, because this is a question that a lot of the universities were asking us, because they have a lot of students that are walking, you know, throughout the time. And then, you know, I see it all the time in the traditional sense where people would just stop the equipment. And it would be the same in that. But however, though, I want to position our technology to where if there is a lot of people or a lot of traffic in the area, for us to deploy more at nighttime. And that right there is a game changer, because lawn care companies can't do that. So instead of working around the students at the university, then we can just, you know, just deploy our tech in that sense. Also, funny thing, so, and to answer your question again about safety, if someone comes and picks it up, I was joking with my engineers to have the machine to cry like a baby.
I think I was thinking more like, I've actually seen this where someone, a child ran to the base. So with the blade, how the time for the blades to stop, not just to sense that there are other people around,
Yeah.
but how does the device react?
The blades stop immediately within the perimeter of the mower. Does that?
In the perimeter.
Yeah. It's about 4 to 6 feet. With our solution right now, we're doing 39 inches. It's between commercial and it's between residential, but we want our prototype to be able to fit through gates, but also be able to mow bigger lawns. So it will be lines. Or do you want to?
Yes, I was asking about the weed eater section of the mower. Would they actually be using blades, or would they be with the typical weed eater line? And when the line runs out, how does it know to feed it out? And also, like the young lady was saying here, does it have a sensor around it, such as dogs, animals, or whatever that they like to get around? I know that you probably tell them to keep the animals away, but anyone could still walk up. How would it know to automatically stop working, even the weed eater line?
Yeah. So we have a 3. So it's going to be lines to answer your question. And if there is a issue that's about to occur, which is another, it's another revolutionary concept with the actual mowers themselves, is that when there's a issue spotted, then it will detect our tech center, and it will notify us that this will be this is low, or as far as like the supply of the line, or the belt is wearing out and it needs to be replaced within X amount of time, or the blades are you know, not sharp, or the deck is unleveled. These are like different information that would be sent back to us so that we can maintenance that, so that we can avoid the problem versus being on site and then having our mower go down, which I've experienced that hundreds of times in my life, and it's very frustrating. So that is our solution to that. And as far as the sensor with the weeder, it would be the same thing as the mower blades as well. So it's not just the sensors, but it's the 360-degree camera that we have on there that will be able to see what the sensors cannot detect. And that is the kind of the safety to it all, because the computer vision, the 360-degree camera that we have onto the machine is just like eyeballs. And once the eyeballs see and detect that there could be someone that could potentially hurt, then we shut it off.
As someone who is allergic to grass, this sounds amazing to me because there's no way I'm getting outside and cutting my grass. So having a service that can come, do it quietly, and come pick it up and go, I like that theory. My question is more based upon subscription. So in Georgia, we have off seasons where the grass just is not growing, especially during the summer rates. So would you have an option where people could pause their subscriptions during the off months? Because I don't want to pay for something year round that my yard just doesn't need that level of maintenance. Or can you change the type of subscription to where I'm just getting the edges done and cleaned up because I don't need a full lawn mowing, whatever
Yeah.
service? Thank you.
Yeah. So with how we have it structured, there's many different ways that that we can deploy a subscription service. So one of them is we can charge per mow. That's what traditional lawn care companies are doing. Then we can also charge based on 6 months. We can charge based on 8 months or charge based on 12 months. And so based on that, because in Arkansas, it's 8 months for mowing. So based on that and what your preference would be, that would be that. But the 12 months would be more of it's like a heating bill and lighting. Yeah, and it makes it level throughout. Instead of having to pay, people are paying a few $100s to get their lawn mowed a month. It'll levelize it to like 50 or 60, and then that would make it smoother. So there's many different ways that we could deploy the subscription based on what fits your needs.
I've had to do more than my fair share of lawn care, so I'm really excited about this product. But I think my question is, like, even in the summer here, like the dew is so thick on the lawn sometimes that you don't get a quality cut, like if you're cutting at night, early in the morning. So I wondered like what the difference in the quality with this machine is. Because yeah, it can be hard to wait until the sun comes up or everything's dry enough at 11 a.m. or later.
Yeah, so with our, so you're talking about quality. I think an important topic is to talk about quality control as well, to add to your question. So once the machine mows the lawn, we have our person coming around who we train to make sure that the machines did the exact job to be at the top-notch service. And if the machine somehow missed it or something happened to where it's only 95% done, that report would be sent to the operator who is operating in that region. And then that person would then go ahead and take care of the quality that is lacking in that sense.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
I think it would be incredible if you have an answer for this, but because you're in an academic environment, I would really take this question back to the universities. Do you guys have a way of knowing well, first of all, it's lithium ion based power. And that's
Yeah.
why it's quiet, right?
Yes.
Do you have a way of knowing whether or not you can ethically source like your batteries, or would this just be, I know a lot of technological development, the first thing people do with something battery powered is they go straight to build a relationship with China to get the supply. I mean, I just replaced motorcycle battery with a really high tech battery that doesn't need to be maintained and all that kind of stuff. But do you have a supply chain track on that? And where would you buy batteries from, if not from the Chinese market that's maybe exploiting Latin America or Africa?
We're not at that supply chain stage right now. But with our prototype, we are currently looking for the best battery that would fit our prototype.
Yeah.
So, and we're in the prototype stage phase right now, where we're currently actually assembling our prototype and then testing out the battery for that. So right now we're ordering our batteries from Alibaba at the moment, so that we know the exact power, because it's going to take a lot of power. And then once we test that, then we'll either make that decision to figure out how to make our own battery or try to do business with someone that could supply us that.
Okay. I'm sorry, I just remembered something that might help you if you remember this. There's a British firm, I think, with that started out of people from Rio Tinto, which is a huge global mining organization. It's called Benchmark Minerals. And they do conference in DC every year that tracks the trends of these Chinese mega factories that are building these things. So if you wanted, mineral intelligence on resources on where an ethical supply chain is, I would go with Benchmark Minerals. I think they have an office in DC, but they're based in London. So
Benchmark Minerals.
Benchmark. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, so I'm excited for you and for this AI technology. You mentioned that you're looking for investors, right? That's one of the things that you're needing right now to get all of this up and going.
Yeah.
What kind of investment are you looking for? What's your number? Because if you're on your path to $1 million, you need 625 residents, in the mapping out of the route. Some houses need 1 mower, some need 2. That's a lot of units right? What's your price per unit? In building the prototype, again, what Nick had mentioned, the maintenance costs, all of that getting put into it, what is the investment that you're looking for?
Right now we're raising 500,000.
To start with,
To get
how many units would you get out of
about
500,000?
So we would need to hire more engineers. So we do have engineers working on this now through the investments from my own lawn care business, but we would need to scale the amount of engineers for to finalize all the details with what we've been talking about. But we would have at the end of 500 about 10 units for us to deploy.
Awesome.
All right. So first of all, I just have to say that this community is amazing. Every week, somebody different takes the stage. They stand up there in full vulnerability and are willing to hear feedback. And I can't believe some of the feedback that's come from everyone today. Just so helpful. And I hope that you take all of that and just go forward strongly. I want to say, I don't mean to knock that down. That's not what I'm trying to do at all. I want to recognize that you're new to 1 Million Cups, so you're not familiar with the brand, the platform, the format, or anything. My advice to you is if you're going to give this presentation to anybody else, that you should condense it down into, typically they call it like the elevator pitch. I don't think it needs to be 1 sentence, but I think that you should just essentially get to the point faster so that you can leave more room for questions, and then you give us more information as an answer rather than here's all the information up front. So that's one just piece of feedback for you to go out and do other presentations with. I'll also say that because you're unfamiliar with 1 Million Cups, I hope that you utilize 1 Million Cups and go and do this presentation all across the country. 1 Million Cups doesn't, quote unquote, allow pitches. So I think you handled it very well because you just sort of said, this is where we're at. In order to get to the next step, we need to raise money. This wasn't I'm open, I'm here to talk to investors, right? But we had a question about how much you're trying to raise. That's exactly how that should have come out, organically and naturally. And I think that's great. I think I'm also sort of in shock that that's all you're trying to raise. Everybody just agreed with me.
Yeah.
Valuation of a company is bogus, right? It's valued at however much somebody wants to write you a check for. I think personally that 500,000 is a fraction of what you're going to need to raise. I understand there's seed round and the A and all these other rounds that you can do, but I think that if you're going to have conversations about fundraising, that you should be setting your sights much larger. You said you're going through a rebranding. I love the branding. I think your presentation, despite my technical complications of advancing slides, the presentation was very nice, nicely designed. I'm excited about going to check out your website and watch those videos more closely. I personally think that this is something that I would subscribe to. I got the point about off seasons around here. My lawn guys still come every Monday to do the edging and blowing and all the things, even if they're not cutting the lawn. And I pay the same amount every week all year long. I pay on a monthly basis. I'm comfortable with that. It's because I know that I'm not gonna go out there and cut the lawn. I'm not allergic to grass. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm allergic to grass. It's just a different kind of allergy. I enjoy, I know that I can be more productive with my time if I'm sitting in front of a computer or on the phone with somebody rather than riding the mower out there. So this to me, like I am your customer. If you were here, I would subscribe to this service. I would absolutely, I would do it. I would do it because it's technologically forward. I would do it because it's cool. I would do it because your brand would look good on the vehicle that pulls up in front of the house. Like I do it for all of those reasons. So I think you're really onto something. Bianca did have a point. I have seen these things like this advertised, but I've glanced right over it because I don't want to own it. I don't want to service it. I don't want to worry about maintenance. I don't want to do any of that stuff. And I love that in your prototype, at least in your mind, you've got these 360-degree cameras and there's all these things that are going to be telling you, reporting back of what needs to happen. Even if the one that I bought had all that, I'd still have to do something about it. And I don't want that. So I'm a customer. I just wish you were in this fit though.
Yeah.
I wish you the best of luck. I really appreciate that you came all the way out here to present to us. I did tell you earlier before everybody got here, you are more than welcome to come back in a year's time and give us an update as to where you're at. I know you said you have other businesses. You're welcome to take the stage and present those too. And that goes for everybody in the room. Again, I don't know where we're at, Casey, with schedule. We have 1 or 2 more weeks with presenters and then we're kind of open again, right? So we need presenters. I know I say it every week. Please tell your friends. If you've already presented and it's been a while and you want to get back up on stage, feel free. And like I always, if we don't have anybody, I've got a few businesses I'm happy to share with everyone. Thank you guys for coming. I have
Thank you guys.
a gift for you.
Appreciate it.
This is for you, a gift from 1 Million Cups. They don't do a whole lot from corporate to support us, except give us these gifts and the banners and the notebooks. So appreciation to them for that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Appreciate it.
Great job.
Thank you guys.